Well, first of all, thank you everyone for coming. We really appreciate both everyone who's here in person, and we have another 10 or so folks who are on the Zoom. This is the first time we've tried this. It's a financial literacy course that we're doing across the city. And I want to thank you for deciding tonight that you want to invest in yourself. That is very important because you're choosing to take the time to become better financially educated. And when I took my seat as the treasurer of the city, so I'm Jason Schmidt, I'm the treasurer. When I took the seat as the treasurer of the city, I made a commitment to help our city residents save more so they can live better. And that was a very personal commitment to me because I grew up in a lower middle class family that had nothing, that had to balance their checkbook every single month and had to literally budget $50 for this, $20 for this, $10 for this. We did it in little envelopes with individual bills. And they made it work every single month. It was one of the hardest things they did. And they didn't have anything like this to help guide them and help them think about that. And I wanted to make sure that everyone in this city has that same opportunity to be able to have all the tools available at their disposal to do that. So we hope over the course of the next 5 sessions, which will span this month, January, February, March, and April, that you're going to be able to develop lots of those skills and help along the journey a little bit. So that's a little bit about me. Do you want to talk about why this is important to you, Grace?
So I'm Councilwoman Gracie Vandermark. I made it. So why is this important to me? And thank you so much for putting this together. Thank you for taking the time to come out here and help us share this information with everyone else. Having grown up in a very, very low income community where we were very limited in funds, learning how to budget is what helped us survive. Just make it to the next month. I was blessed that back then we had financial literacy classes in school where they taught us. Unfortunately, a lot of kids don't have that anymore. So I'm very glad that we're offering this opportunity. I'm hoping as the classes go on, we get more and more people. And I also think it's important to bring our seniors into this because there are a lot of changes. Right now, you could just tap your card. You don't have to write a check anymore. You don't have to use cash. And a lot of times, along with tapping your card or swiping your card, you get fraud. People hack into your accounts. So it's really important that we stay up to date, not just for our kids to learn, but for our seniors who have not been involved with the technology as much on how to protect yourselves. So thank you so much for being here. It actually means a lot, and I'm looking forward to seeing you guys on graduation.
Yeah. And before we kick it off to our friends at United Way, a couple things. I want to talk a little about the Treasurer's Office for just a second. So we collect all the taxes for the city. The one that is probably most relevant for most folks in this room is probably twofold. So three actually. So if you happen to have a small business, we're involved in all of your small business licensing franchise fees. If you run an Airbnb, you pay your what's called TOT, which is your transit occupancy tax, through us. And the third thing is all of your utility taxes, your water taxes, those come to us. So if anybody's ever threatening to stop payment on your water and shut your water off, that's our department. And what I would encourage you to do, and I'm going to leave a bunch of my business cards out here. Feel free anytime. It has my cell phone on it. It has my email address on it. Please reach out and talk to us because there are ways that we can work together to try to partner with you to help you in situations like that. That's really, really important, and it's important to spread the word and for people to know that in the community. And the other thing before we start, I want to thank our friends at United Way and SparkPoint for doing this. It's a big deal. They're doing this entirely for our city free of charge. They've done this for a number of cities throughout Orange County. And quite frankly, it's an amazing organization. I was at their gala a couple weeks back. Sue Parks has built a phenomenal organization that does all kinds of amazing things for all the communities across Orange County, and we feel extraordinarily blessed to have them. And we are deeply grateful that you're willing to kind of share your time tonight. In addition, the Fair Housing Foundation has been so wonderful as to help us and do one-on-one counseling for individuals who want it, who are here. So please take advantage of that. It's an amazing opportunity. I wish at some point in time someone would give me one-on-one counseling. Maybe Gracie can teach me how to finally make my finances work and my husband's finances work. But no, we really, in all seriousness, please take advantage of the resources that are in front of you. We are trying to provide as much as possible. And also, please give us feedback. You guys are the guinea pigs. So tell us what's working, what's not working. We're going to try to refine the model accordingly to help us know what works for you and what doesn't. If there's other supplemental programming that would help you, please let us know. So I think one thing that we're going to introduce, and we'll introduce it in the January session, so coming attractions for you to come back in January, we're partnering with the Atlanta Fed. Their research arm actually has a benefits cliff tool that we're going to be able to make available to everyone free of charge to be able to help you figure out if you're enrolling in new programs, if you're taking, if you're taking a job that's going to pay you more, whether there's going to be a benefits cliff impact that might cause you to lose benefits. So we're trying to really help you do that. It's customized to where you live, so it's customized to being in Huntington Beach in Orange County. It can help you think through, gee, I want to do a training program to become a truck driver. How much is that going to cost me? How am I going to grow into that? And what's the benefits impact going to be? Because often people will take new roles not realizing that they might lose their health care or their child care as a consequence. And that really becomes vital. So what looks like a pay increase actually ends up becoming a pay decrease. And we want to try to partner to alleviate those situations and make you as aware as possible of what the potential financial implications could be.
Hi, everyone. I'm Adolfo. I work with Orange County United Way under the United for Financial Security Initiative. So under that initiative, we do have other programs. But before that, thank you for being here. I do appreciate you taking the time to learn about budgeting, to learn about, especially right now with the holidays coming up, we are going to be focusing on that. But we're also going to be talking about a spending plan for the whole year. So not just only for the holidays, but also for the whole year. How I like to do these classes is that I like it to be open discussion, so you don't have to wait until the end to ask questions. You can ask questions throughout the presentation. If you have any comments, any questions, feel free to raise your hand or just speak out. Also, we do want to be respectful of other people's opinions, experiences. Not everyone has the same experience as other people. We also want this to be a judge-free zone. We want to be an open, safe space for people to open up about their finances if they feel comfortable with that. With that, I'm going to be talking about other resources that we offer within Orange County United Way. So one of those, we have Upskill LC. So with Upskill LC, they do provide coaching. They do provide training for people that are looking for a certification. So it's mainly for people that are 18 to 28 years old. It's completely free. They do offer up to $5,000 of funding. So if they have a training certification program that they find that they want to do, they can go to the website, they can submit an interest form, and they're going to get contacted. The other one is the OC Free Tax Prep, so that one's coming up next year. So we do have several locations throughout Orange County. The whole point of the OC Free Tax Prep is to provide money back to the community. So we want you to have more of your money coming back to you. We are hoping and planning to have a site in Huntington Beach, so hopefully that does happen, so you don't have to go to a different city. The other one, it's 211 OC. So we do have 211 within our agency. There's different options to contact 211. So you are able to dial. You just dial 211. Someone's going to answer. If you have a need for food, for utility assistance, transportation, anything like that, they are able to connect you to another nonprofit within Orange County that can help you with that. You are also able to text. So you text your zip code to 898-211. They should be able to reach out to you as well. We also have the website. We have 211oc.org. You are able to access our database right there. So you are able to access the different resources that we have available for the community. Any questions on these resources? No? Okay, sounds good. So we're going to move into our class for today. So again, we're going to be talking about creating a spending plan to celebrate these holidays stress-free. So we don't want to be stressed with money. We don't want to be stressed with debt with the upcoming year. So we want to feel good about our finances. We want to feel good about the purchases that we're making. We don't want to overspend. Sometimes with the holidays, we do tend to overspend. So it's good to have a plan. It's good to have control over those expenses that we're going to be making, especially during this season. So the reality of holiday spending, so December is one of the most beautiful times. You know, there's a lot of lights, a lot of happiness, a lot of joy, but it's also one of the most expensive ones. We do have to buy food, we do have to buy decorations. Some people go to different places, so they do have to travel. And coming up the next year, that's when bills are due, that's when everything's coming up. And that's when we realize that we may have overspent. That's when we get stressed with all of the purchases that we made. So how do you feel after the holidays? Do you feel calm? Do you feel relaxed? Or are you worried about money?
Feel okay?
You feel okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Anyone else? How do they feel after the holidays? Depends. Yeah.
I say sad.
Sad? Why is that?
Well, mostly because the holiday's over, but maybe a little bit of the stress that it caused.
No, yes. No, yes. For me personally, I also feel a little bit stressed just because during December, I do feel, I'm happy. I'm happy to be buying gifts for other people. But then once that time is over, once it's actually time to look at my statement, once it's time to look at the purchases that I made, I do sometimes realize that I overspend. I do feel worried. I do feel stressed. But we don't want to feel like that. We don't want to feel stressed after the holidays. We want to continue being calm. We want to continue being happy after the holidays as well. So we do have to identify the expenses that we have. So for the most part, we do have gifts that we are going to give to people. We have family dinners. Again, some people do go to other places, so travel or transportation, depending on what type of transportation they're going to use. Decorations, I know for the most part, people want to have a new theme of the decorations that they have in their houses. Sometimes they don't reuse the decorations that they used the previous year because we want to have a new color. We maybe want to have a new theme. So maybe we can still reuse those things that we already have instead of maybe only changing one color. We can reuse one of the colors that we already have. Donations or support to others. So sometimes during these times, we do like to donate. We do like to give back to the community. We like to give back to people. So it is important for us to make a list of the top 5 expenses that we have during this time. Maybe the expenses that you have are the same ones that are on here. Maybe they're different. They're going to look different for everyone. But it is important for us to have an idea of the expenses that we're going to be making during that time. And why is it important? Because we want to know the limit of how much we can spend on each of those categories. Let's say for travel transportation, we only want to spend $300. So we have to find ways in which we can only spend $300. We don't want to spend more than that. And we also have to think about our needs, wants, and obligations. So needs are things that we need in order to survive. So that's going to be food, that's going to be rent, transportation. There's other things in there too. So they always come first. We need food in order for us to survive. We need housing in order for us to be stable and safe. Transportation, if we have to go to work, we need transportation. Wants, those are things that we don't necessarily need, but we want to have in our life. So it could be gifts, it could be new clothing, it could be new decorations. Again, decorations, we don't have to get new ones. We could maybe reuse some of those decorations that we already have. For gifts, maybe we want, I know for the most part we want the best gift for our family members, for our close friends, but sometimes we don't have the funding to make those expensive. Maybe we have to limit ourselves for that specific year, for that specific friend, maybe making a purchase that's less and within our budget. New clothing. So this clothing could be part of the needs, just depending on the person. For me, I do think it goes on the needs, just because we do have to have clothing. We need clothing, but it does have a limit. When it comes to clothing, it's just the things that we need. We don't need to overspend on clothing. I know that there's jeans, there's shirts that are $300. We don't really need a $300 shirt. We don't really need a $300 jeans. So as long as we keep it within a certain limit that we know that it's not considered a want, I think we're fine with that. Yes?
Just a question. Where would a phone bill go under the 3 categories?
A phone, it could be a need, just because we do need a cell phone nowadays for everything that we need. It's through a phone, so we do need our phone. So that could be considered a want. I mean, a need. Sorry, but again, it just depends on the person. Maybe for a person, it could be a want. It's not necessarily a need. And then we're going to move on into obligations. So obligations could be electricity, could be water, loans, credit cards. Those are things that they cannot be missed, because if we do miss those payments with credit cards, our credit score is going to be impacted. With electricity, they're going to shut off electricity. We don't want that to happen. So those are things that we do have to keep in mind. And during the holidays, sometimes the wants are hard to distinguish from the needs. So how can we make that difference? How can we distinguish between the needs and the wants?
I would say the obligations are part of the needs, because you need electricity,
Yes.
you need water.
Yeah. So yeah, like I mentioned, some of these things could be different for everyone. So electricity could be part of a need. For some people, it's going to be a need. Water as well is going to be a need. For other people, they see it as an obligation because they have to pay every single month. But again, it just depends. But yes, you are correct. It could be seen as a need. But let's say, for example, for gifts. I know, again, I did mention that sometimes we want to give the best gift to the people in our lives. But how can we limit ourselves so we don't overspend on that category, so we don't have to overspend on wants?
Buy from Costco.
Yeah, we can do that. We can buy from Costco. They have really good things in there at good prices. So yeah, that's one of the things that we can do. Someone else, something that we can do to...
Make it by hand.
Yeah, so you are actually giving some of the tips that we have, but yes, we can do things on our own, DIY. We can buy other locations that have lower prices as well. And we're going to go over that right now as well. So how to reduce holiday expenses? Like you mentioned, we can buy at Costco. We can make things on our own, DIY. We can set a spending limit per person. So let's say that we have a spending limit for each person for $40. We go to the store, we see an item that's $50. And we say, it's only $10. It's not that much. It's not that much of a difference. I'll just buy the gift. But if we do the same thing for everyone on the list, it's going to add up. So instead of doing those $40, now it's $50. Now that's $10 more that we didn't plan for. So it is important for us to stick to the limit that we planned. We can also do Secret Santa or White Elephant. With that, we just focus on one person. They also have a limit, so it could be maybe a $50 limit. We already know that it's only $50. For White Elephant, that could be a little more fun. So it could be something that you could do instead of buying for everyone. Again, you just focus on one person. Give things you made by you. So if you like making things, you can also make something for the people in your life. It's going to be a little bit more special. I know that with the society that we're in, it's more about material things. But some people do appreciate that you took the time and the effort to make those things for them. Plan ahead and avoid last-minute purchases. I think this is something that happens to a lot of us. I think we don't really realize that time is passing by. And then when we finally realize what the time of the month, it's already like a week away from Christmas. So everyone's shopping for Christmas gifts. So not only are we spending more when we do last-minute purchases, but we're also wasting more time at the stores because there's huge lines. So it's going to take us more time at the stores. It's going to be more expensive. So we do want to try to avoid doing last-minute purchases. Again, using decorations from previous years. Again, I know that some people do like to have new colors, new decorations, but we can maybe reuse some of those decorations. We can organize a potluck-style dinner, so something that it's not only going to be on us, the dinner, it's going to be on everyone. So we can have like a community dinner where everyone brings something. And the last one, I think it's one of the biggest ones, which is avoid using your credit card without a payment plan. Most of the times we do use the credit card because we think we're going to pay it for the next month. But when the next month comes, we don't have the funding to pay it just because we didn't have a plan. And that comes with not having a spending plan, which is a budget. So it is important for us to first see how much we can pay for the credit card and how much we can use from the credit card. Okay. And sometimes we do have to increase our income during those times. Yes?
Well, can I have two more things?
Yeah, go ahead.
So for planning ahead, because I have kids, you know, so and a big house. So what I've done immune to avoid this.
Yes.
Is that throughout the year, I'll buy the Christmas gift.
Yes.
If I'm out of town, found something for somebody, I'll buy it.
Mhm.
And I have collections. So by Christmas time, I'm already done.
Yes.
And then for the decorations, what I do, I talk to my kids on Christmas Day, asking them what color thing they want for next year, and then I'll buy the stuff on clearance. So
True.
they have what they want.
Yeah. No, yeah, I think that's a good idea with the decorations is because everything's on sale, everything's on clearance after the holiday, so we can take advantage of those that sale. Anyone else does something to help them reduce the holiday expenses?
I think I just more try to get better at bullet number one. Like I might have a spending limit for one person,
Yeah.
but if I go and I find something like way better than what I expected and it's actually cheaper, I used to try to like spend the rest of it because I'm like I said,
Correct.
right?
Yeah.
But maybe just spending it's a good enough gift in itself. It's really that's good enough loan.
No, yeah.
Leaving it there because it was such a good deal to start. So
No, yeah.
maybe that limit might be less than what you expected.
No, yeah. Yeah, that could also happen. Yeah. So.
So with the second bullet point, I can tell you my family does the white elephant because we have a huge family. We can't afford to get everybody gifts, right? So we
Yeah.
do a $25 white elephant or Secret Santa. Typically we did Secret Santa in the beginning. Now we do white elephant. It's more fun.
Yeah.
You'll enjoy it. So that's what I recommend. That's what our family does.
Thank you for sharing. Anyone else? Anything else that they do to reduce their expenses during the holidays? No? Okay. So we'll move on to the how to increase income in December, just because sometimes we do have to increase our income. Maybe we don't have enough funds to buy the gifts. Maybe we don't have enough funds to buy the decorations that we want. So there's different ways that we can increase our income. So usually during the holidays, stores do hire for seasonal workers, usually retail stores. We can also do events. There's also deliveries that they usually are always hiring. Things that we don't use, we can sell things that we don't use. There's a lot of things in our houses that are just there. They've been there for months. They don't get used, so maybe we can sell them. Another one would be offering services. I know during the holidays, a lot of people don't like wrapping gifts. So what can we do is we can offer that service. We can offer to wrap gifts, especially if we enjoy doing that. Another one would be cooking. So maybe we can cook food and sell the food, or maybe we can offer our service as well. Cleaning, babysitting, or pet sitting, those are some of the things that we are able to do. There's some apps, especially for pet sitting, that you can use to get hired for that. Say community support. So during this time, there is a lot of community support. So there's toy distribution programs, there's food distributions. Some places even offer gift cards, and they also there's the food pantries available. So let's take advantage of the resources that are available to us. So if there's a food distribution, maybe we can join that food distribution. If there's a food pantry, maybe we can go to that food pantry. That's money that we're saving, money that we can use maybe for the gift, maybe the money that we can use to save. Does anyone else have any other ideas on how to increase income during the holidays?
Do you know, like food distribution is not just canned food, but there's also like 2-in-1 has the turkey where they can do
Correct.
turkey and a meal, or canned foods to create a meal. So that's something that you can save
Yeah.
and utilize resources.
Yeah, thank you for mentioning that. So yeah, you can actually call 211 to ask them about the resources available to you. I know during the holidays, we do collect that information. We do collect that information from other nonprofits that are providing turkeys, that are providing food distribution. So do call 211 and ask about those services and those organizations that are providing those services. Okay. So how can we create a spending plan during the holidays? So again, at the beginning we mentioned about having the top 5 expenses that we have to make during the holidays. So we can make them into a table, we can write them down. In this example, we have gifts, food, and decorations. So we have a plan amount, action amount, and a note. So this could look different for you, but we're gonna go over this one first. So for this person, they have gifts, they were planning on spending only $100. They spend only $85, so they spend less. For food, it's $80, they spend $95, so they actually spend a little bit more. So they do have to adjust their spending plan for the following week. Decorations, 45. They only use 20 because they reuse some of their decorations. And again, a plan does help us see where our money is going, and it does help us stay in control. Because if we know how much money we have for expensive, how much money we have left over, we have an idea of how much we can spend. We don't want to overspend. That's because that's what makes us fall in a cycle of debt, and we don't want that to happen. So we do want to have an idea of what we have to spend, how much we can spend, and if we are able to spend that. If not, we can maybe adjust for other times, or maybe we can find ways to reduce those expenses. Any questions on this? Yes.
I have a question, but I think the best thing about that is writing it down and giving yourself a limit, and that way it's in front of you, and you're more aware when you go shopping or whatever.
Yeah.
Just having it there.
No, yeah, so that's actually a good idea. I know a lot of people, what they do is that they only take the amount that they say they're going to spend on cash. And they don't take the debit card, they don't take the credit cards, just so they can only spend what they said that they were going to spend. Is there any other ways that you all don't overspend? Is there any ways that you try to stay within your limit?
Before buying whatever I think I want, I just ask them what you want. So then I'll look out of the three what they want, see what I can do.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, thank you for sharing that. Anyone else?
Another thing that my family does is we kind of meet prior to Thanksgiving, and we kind of do like, hey, a wish list, like as a kid.
Yeah.
And then we wait till after Thanksgiving where there's like a lot of deals, and then you get incentives if you shop at Target or Walmart, and they give you cash back or something.
Yeah. Yeah, I know Black Friday is coming up, so maybe we can take advantage of the sales during Black Friday. But yeah, we can plan ahead of what we specifically want, especially for Christmas as well. Anyone else? How do they stay within their limit? No? Okay. Okay. And I know for the holiday spending plan, it seems simple, it seems basic. We just write down what we plan on buying, the limit that we want to spend. But we want to have a year-round plan. We want to have a spending plan that's going to be for the whole year. Because if we have a spending plan for the whole year, we don't really need a holiday spending plan because it's going to be included within our whole year spending plan. And again, if we have control, if we have an idea of where our money is going the whole year, we're going to be able to plan for Christmas. Let's say for last year we spent $500. We can already plan for those $500 for this upcoming year. We can already start saving for those expenses that we already know we're going to be making. So benefits of having a personal spending plan is that, again, you know how much you're making and you know where your money is going. I know sometimes we think that we know where every cent is going, but sometimes we don't even know. Sometimes we have a subscription that's only 99 cents, and we don't even realize that we've been paying that for the last 3 years. So that's $1 that we've been paying monthly, and again, it doesn't seem like a lot, but after a few years, after a few months, it does add up. And that's only for 99 cents. There's things that we have that are like maybe $20, $50. So we do have to look into our expenses to see what exactly we're spending. Prepare for emergencies. I know sometimes we are not ready for emergencies. We don't have funds set aside for emergencies. When we have a spending plan, we can add a category for emergencies. We can add a category to save up for that. We can avoid unnecessary debt. Again, if we have a emergency fund, we don't need to take out a loan. We don't need to use our credit card because we already have those funds set aside. And maybe it's not the full amount that we need, but we already have some funds set aside. We can achieve goals such as saving or paying off debt. I know some people do want to get out of that debt. They do want to reduce their debt. They want to be debt-free. But sometimes we don't know where to start. And where we can start is by creating a spending plan, because then we can see where maybe we can reduce some of those expenses. Maybe we can see where we can eliminate some of those expenses, and we can move the money to our debt. So maybe we can make a higher payment and it's going to help us get rid of that debt. Okay, so the pillars of a spending plan. So again, we do need to know our income. So we do need to know the total income that we have. Maybe we're receiving benefits. Maybe we have employment, Social Security, pension. So we need to know how much in total are we receiving every month. For expenses, we do want to make a list of the expenses that we have. If you are able to, you can also look at your bank statements, especially the last 3 months of your bank statements is going to help you have a better picture of the expenses that you usually have. So again, having a list of all of those expenses, having the total of those expenses is going to help us create this spending plan. So we went over 1 and 2 already. So the next step would be to subtract your expenses from the income. So if it's 0, if our income is the same as our expenses, we don't really want to be there just because there's no room for anything else. There's no room for additional expenses. There's no room for additional things that we may want to purchase. So let's say that your result is 0. We want to look at ways in which we can reduce some of those expenses or maybe even eliminate. And I feel for all of them, it's going to be the same thing. Even if our result is positive, that means that we have more income than expenses. We still want to look into our expenses to see if we can maybe even increase that amount. We definitely don't want to be in the negative just because that means that we have more expenses than income. We don't want to be in that situation because that's when we start using our credit cards. That's when we start getting loans. So we don't want to be in that situation that we are going to be adding more to our expenses just because that's going to be an additional payment that we have to make. And we do want to adjust our budget. So we do want to, again, look at ways in which we can reduce some of those expenses or even eliminate some of those expenses. We do have to follow up every month, so we do have to check our budget. We have to make sure that we are spending the amount that we said we were going to be spending. If we maybe spend more than we had planned, adjusting for the following month, for the following 2 weeks, for the following week. Depending on what type of spending plan we want to make, it's going to look different. I know some people like doing a weekly spending plan. Other people like doing a bi-weekly spending plan. Other people like doing a monthly spending plan. I'm one of those people that like to do a monthly spending plan just because it's easier for me. It's easier for me to look at the whole month and see how much I'm going to be spending, when the payments are due. Some people even like doing a daily spending plan. So it just depends on how you want to track your expenses, how you want to track your income. It's going to look different for everyone. Again, for some people, it could be a weekly, bi-weekly. And also the way that you do your spending plan. Maybe you like doing paper and pen. Maybe that works for you. Maybe you like to use an application. Maybe you like to use your computer. Maybe you like to use an Excel sheet. So again, it's going to look different for everyone. I like using my computer. I like using an Excel sheet. Maybe for you, it's not going to work. Maybe for you, it's better to do paper and pen. Maybe it's better to use an application. So it's just about trying different things and finding the tool that's going to help us stick to that spending plan. And it does take time. It does take practice. It took me a long time for me to actually use my spending plan. It took me, I'll say maybe a few months, just because I used it for maybe 2 weeks and then I would forget about it. But it's about going back. It's about going back to your spending plan. It's about going back to your budget in order for it to work for you. Because if we just give up, it's not going to do anything. Time is going to pass, and then our expenses are going to continue. And if we don't know where our money is going, it's not going to help us with our finances. We do have to review and update the plan. So again, maybe our expenses are going to change. Hopefully they decrease instead of increasing. Our income may change over time. Again, hopefully that our income is actually increasing instead of decreasing. So we do have to make those adjustments in case we have more expenses, in case we have lower income as well. So we do want to make those changes. Any questions on this, on how to create a spending plan? Yes?
A question as far as if I want to save money on a monthly basis, would that be an expense?
It could be. So for you, it could be that you add it into your spending plan. I know for some people, it's only the expenses that they have. and then whatever they have left over, that's what they use to save. But you can include it into your budget already. Yes, yeah. I know some people, they like to do the method of having zero. That means that they already have their savings in their budget, so they want the total to be zero. So I know for some people that's what they like to do. But for this case, the one that I'm saying zero, it's that we're not planning for savings. But yeah. Anyone else? Any questions on this? No? Okay. So we're going to move on into how it could look. Again, similar to the holiday spending plan, it's going to have the categories, it's going to have the plan amount, and then you can add the extra amount. And also, you can have a category for difference. So for income, housing, food, transportation, debt, savings, you can add every single thing that you have. And you do want to include every single little thing that you have. Even the 99-cent subscription that you have, just because even though it's only 99 cents, you're still paying for that. So you do want to have everything listed out. Again, this could work for you. Maybe this doesn't work for you. For me, I personally only use the category and the plan amount, and then I have the day that I have to pay that expense. So this could work for you. It could be different. It's just about finding what's going to work for us. Again, this is just an example. You also have an example on the pages that I provided. It's going to be the last page. It does give you an example. It could also be an activity, so you can actually work on that budget. And you can find ways in which this person can reduce their expenses. So it could also be an activity that you can do at home, and it could help you see how you can do the same thing for your own budget. And sometimes even when we have the perfect spending plan, when we have the perfect budget, sometimes things happen. Sometimes we are not able to follow our spending plan. And we have to think of what we can do. We have to think of what has to happen. So for the most part, we do have to prioritize our expenses based on what we need. So we have to go back into our needs, into our wants and obligations. So for sure, we do want to pay for our needs. We want to make sure that those are paid for, and also obligations. So we want to make sure that those things are paid for. For once, we can maybe limit ourselves for that specific time. Maybe it's going to be a few months that we don't have Netflix. Maybe it's going to be a few months that we don't have Spotify. But it's something that we have to do in order for us to be able to make ends meet, in order for us to be able to still be able to survive, still have our housing, still have food on our table. So we want to make sure, again, that the needs and the obligations are paid for. Sometimes even with the obligations, with water, electricity, we might only pay half of what we have to pay just because we don't have enough funds. And that's when the community support comes in. So we can all contact 211 to see where the support is. We can contact the city to see if they have any type of support that's available for us, just because it could be something that's going to affect us in the long term. And then we do also want to avoid going into debt for the holidays. Again, for credit cards, we see it as buy now, pay later. But it's something that we want to avoid as much as possible. We want to have a plan. So only use your credit card if you have a plan of how you're going to pay back. Again, just because sometimes it's easy for us to just swipe. It's easy for us to just tap. And we don't really realize how much we're spending. I know for me, a few years ago, 2 years ago, I was using my credit card. I was just tapping, I was just swiping. And I was like, oh, it's not that much, it's not that much. But by the end of the month, I realized that I overspent. I spent more than I had planned, just because I didn't have a spending plan of a limit on how much I wanted to spend. So we do want to be mindful of that. We want to be aware of how much we can actually spend, how much we can actually put into our credit card. So it in a way that it's not going to impact us negatively. If we can, use cash or debit card and make a list. I know someone mentioned before making a list of the things that we want to buy and only sticking to those things. I know especially for food, sometimes we go to the store, we have an idea of what we're going to be getting, but sometimes we get distracted. Maybe we go into a different aisle, we get other things that we were not planning to buy. So maybe we can make a list in order to just stick to that list, going into the aisles that we need to go, not going into different aisle, and buying the things that we need. Sometimes we see things that we think we need, so things that we desire. Especially for me right now, I'm in the situation that I want a new TV. I go to the store, I go to the TV section, and I see that it's only like $300, $400. I was like, oh, that's not too bad. But then I remind myself, do I really need this new TV? Am I in the situation, in the place that I'm able to afford to buy that new TV? So we have to pause and think before making big purchases of things that we might not even really need in the moment. Sometimes we buy things that we only use once, and then it's just there. So we do have to take a moment to think if we actually need that item, if we want to make that purchase. And the goal is to start the new year without new debt. So we don't want to start the new year with new debt. It's going to be new year, new me, not new year, new debt. So we do want to make sure that we don't have that debt because we want to work on reducing that debt from previous years so we can be fresh and we can be debt free. Any questions on this? Any strategies that you use to not go into debt?
And make sure you pay your credit card in full.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So yes, so one of the ways is to pay your credit card in full. So yes, that's the best way for you not to go into debt. I know sometimes it's not possible. So do try to make at least the minimum payment on your credit cards just because you don't want to miss a payment. You don't want to miss a payment. It's going to impact your credit score. If you can make more than the minimum payment, do make that extra payment. Do make more than the minimum payment. Again, the best would be to pay in full, but sometimes it's not possible. Any other ways that, yeah?
Personally, for me, I'll do like Target or Walmart pickup.
Okay.
And I just buy
Yes.
what I know I need. And then I don't even go into the store.
Yeah.
Because I know if I go into the store, I'm going to buy something that I don't need
Mm-hmm.
or that looks good in that moment. And so I make sure I order it all, just go
Yeah.
to the dry place and let them do it because I will guarantee to spend on something I don't.
No, yeah.
That's another way I don't overspend.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. Yeah, and that's something that we can take advantage of. It's completely free. We don't have to pay extra for that. It's pickup. We just go on the app. We just go on the website. We choose the items that we want. Just pick them up. We don't have to go into the store. We save not only money, but we save time as well. Again, time is valuable as well. So we do want to make sure that we don't go around the whole store when we don't have to. So maybe picking up is going to be one of the best ways for us to avoid buying things that we don't need. And then we can also focus on the meaning and not so much on the money. Again, I mentioned at the beginning, with the society, it is more on the material things that we can obtain from other people. But maybe we can focus on more of the meaning of the holidays. So we can create family traditions. We can maybe volunteer. Maybe we can help others. That's not only going to allow us to give back to the community, but it's also going to make us feel good because we're doing something good for other people. We're doing something good for our own community. We can write thank you letters or messages, and this could be also for children. It could be for different organizations that we can write letters for other people. So it doesn't have to be for our own family. It could be also for other people. We can share family time or cook together. So this also brings everyone together because everyone's participating in cooking, everyone's participating in the activity that we are doing. So this is something that we can also do. It's not that expensive, and we are enjoying each other in that time. Is there something that you do already with your family so you don't maybe go out, maybe you stay home doing something with your family? Is there something that you are doing right now? I know some people, what they like to do is that they like to watch holiday movies. They like to watch Christmas movies. So that's something that maybe you can do as well, watching Christmas movies with your family. And then cooking would be another one. Making the gingerbread houses. That's also something that you can do. It's not too, depending on which one you buy, it doesn't have to be too expensive. You spend time with your family. It's something that you are enjoying. It's something that they're going to remember as well. So. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think another thing is like community events within your city. Usually, like for Christmas,
Yeah.
they'll have like a night through the city where you can have food and you go different crafts and stuff. And
Yeah.
you have kids, it's usually like
Yeah.
a good little night out. It's usually
No, yeah.
pretty painless for your pocketbook.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you for sharing that. Yeah, community events. During this time, there's a lot of community events. They're completely free. So we can also take advantage of that. We can go to those events. We can enjoy being with community members. We can enjoy the company of other community members as well. Okay. Any questions on spending plan, whether it's the holiday spending plan, the personal spending plan? So the handouts that you have, it is an example of something that you can do. It could be a spending plan that you can use. It does have for income. It does have for expenses. You can change some of those things as well. So it does provide you a guide of how to start with a spending plan if you don't have one in place, and that's something that you can do. So that's all that I have for this class. I am going to be talking about SparkPoint. So SparkPoint OC is the one that's providing these classes. So it is a free financial coaching program available to all of Orange County residents. You meet with a case manager if you want to increase your credit score, you want to reduce your debt, you want to increase your savings. They create a personal plan with you. They create a personalized plan. You can meet with them. It's on a monthly basis. It could be in person or through Zoom. So depending on what's better for you, what's the most convenient, you could decide whether it's through Zoom or in person. We do have over 9 locations in Orange County. We do have some locations in schools. We also have locations in community centers as well. So we do have different locations. Yes?
For a 12 month, what if within a 12 month we end up moving 4 hours away?
It would depend on the case manager. I know they may be able to keep you, but if there is a lot of people that are interested in the program, they may ask you to withdraw from the program. So, yeah. But again, this is completely free to the community. If you are interested, you can scan the QR code. You can go to the website. If not, you can also come up to me at the end, and I can give you that information as well. And then we have Elizabeth from the Fair Housing Foundation, and she's going to share about her program as well. So
hello, everyone. My name is Liz Castro. I'm with Fair Housing Foundation. It's hard to follow up. It was a great presentation by Adolfo, so thank you very much for that information. So we here at Fair Housing Foundation, our primary reason for existing is to combat housing discrimination. And so that's one of the things we do. We also deal with landlord-tenant rights information, but our financial empowerment program is one of our newer programs. As an agency, we've been around since 1964, but this is one probably a pre-COVID, so about 6 years old, with the same goal in mind as I'm sure United Way has, and that's just helping people manage their monies, their numbers, right? So we do have one-on-one counseling as well with these bullets that we typically start with assessing on the first session, assessing one's housing and financial situation, and that varies, right? People have their salary and wage earnings, some people have pensions, a combination of a few things, so we go over all that in detail on a one-on-one basis. We help create that personalized spending plan that they hope to follow. So we have the current budget that they're working with at that moment that we're speaking with them. And then we create a proposed one depending on what their financial goals might be. So we set those realistic financial goals up, hoping that their proposed budget can carry them to meet their goals. We create an action plan in that whole process. So basically, here are your goals. This is what you're going to do to help you guys yourself reach that goal. Anything that I'm going to do or how the counselor is going to do to help you reach your goals, that's also listed. And so it's just more to keep everybody honest and kind of in check. So when we have those monthly follow-ups, we know, okay, let's go down the list. What have we been able to accomplish? What might we have to put a pin in for the next time? So that is part. And in some cases, we're able to connect clients with other resources that might be helpful or necessary to their situation. I think you also mentioned just make utility assistance or something like that, depending on where they're at. So again, I kind of went backwards. I talked about the landlord-tenant first, but in that session, and sometimes other conversation happens regarding their housing situation. Maybe they've received a notice, maybe they're kind of unsure of what to do, maybe got a notice, repair issue, and that is something else that kind of gets hammered out in a session as well because it's part of that one-on-one session. So for us, my email is right here, our website as well. You can always go to our website under our rental counseling. It comes up. It'll send a message directly to me, or you can email me directly. Either way, we hope to help people aid in creating a sustainable budget for themselves. And like he said, year-round. Holidays, one thing definitely, but sometimes in the year-round budget, we're able to, like you said, plan a little bit every month in their proposed budget so that when December, November comes, they're prepared. So thank you for letting me speak today. I appreciate your time.